As David said, my name is Frank Hines. I'm the Vice President of Talent Acquisition here at Charles Schwab & Company. I've been with Schwab for over 15 years now. Half of that time has been in the field, working with clients and employees in our branches. The other half has been in HR capacities, running the training organization, and now 4 years heading up the recruiting function. I'd like to welcome everyone here to the webcast today. We're excited that you've decided to learn a little bit more about Schwab and the career opportunities that we have. We do realize that this is an investment of your time over the next hour, and we'll do all we can to give you a good return on that investment. Before we get too far, though, I would like to stop and just say thank you to all of you. There's nearly 1,000 people registered to be on our call today, and we're very grateful for the interest you've shown in our firm. And in fact, it's quite humbling that you would consider Schwab as a place that you might want to bring your talents and your skills that you've acquired in your professional career. We always say that flattery comes in the form of a client that chooses to open or deepen a relationship, and we're very appreciative of the interest that you show in our firm. So let me review the agenda. I'd like to introduce our lineup of speakers who I'm proud to call my colleagues here at Schwab. We'll then get into the Schwab overview, and we're going to position this as, the Schwab you may know, that many people know today, but then we'll get into the Schwab you may not know, the company that we have evolved into over the 40 years we've been around. The majority of our time will be in something you're very interested in, and that is the roles and career opportunities within our branch network and our private client business. We'll finish up telling you about some career events that we have planned throughout the month of May, where you'll be able to meet some recruiting professionals and some business leaders at some of our local Schwab facilities throughout the country. So we expect to present for about 45 or 50 minutes, and then we'll take questions for 10 or 15 minutes using the method that David described. So let's get into introductions. First, we're going to hear from Andrew Selesky. Andrew is our Senior Vice President in charge of the branch network. Andrew is based in San Francisco, but as you could imagine, being head of branches, he travels throughout the country extensively meeting with clients and employees on a regular basis. Andrew's been with the firm for over 20 years, and he's had a number of leadership positions over that time. We'll also hear from Jackie Bevel. Jackie is a financial consultant in our Houston, Texas branch. Jackie's been with us for over 12 years, comes to us from Wells Fargo, and she'll tell you more specifically about the role that she has that many of you might be interested in. We'll also hear from Brad Hunt. Brad has a wealth of knowledge in financial services, both in the wealth management space as well as private client, which is what he leads here at Schwab. He's been here at Schwab in the Denver facility for 4 years, and you'll be hearing more specifically about our private client opportunities from Brad. And then you see me over to the right of that page. I'm based in Chicago, in fact, and like I said, I've been with Schwab for 15 years, but I've been in financial services for over 25. And then rounding out the cast is Heather Markham, who's based in Phoenix. Heather has extensive recruiting experience and has been with Schwab for 2 years and leads our branch network and private client recruiting team. On her team is Axel Markeline. Axel's been in business for over 20 years, working at some financial services firms as well as Schwab over the last 4 years. Axel's title is Senior Talent Advisor. The one thing that we have in common with all of you is that before joining Schwab, whether it was 2 years or 20 years ago, we were all in your position as candidates or at least interested parties to learn more about this company we call Schwab. And so by your presence here today, we can relate to the position that you're in to know a little bit more. And a quick fact about myself, I was a client for nearly 10 years prior to becoming a Schwabbie, and we do refer to ourselves as Schwabbies. But what always stood out for me during those 10 years was, I wish I could come up with a more sophisticated phrase, but how nice and helpful everyone was to me as a client. And I was made to feel during that time like I was the focus of whoever I was dealing with, over the phone or in the branch. I always felt like I was being catered to in a very personal and professional way. The way that Schwab deals with clients is very genuine and authentic, and I think you'll hear that in the presentation today. So the Schwab you probably know. We're 40 years old, just past our 40th anniversary. You may know us grounded in the discount brokerage field. We revolutionized the industry, and you'll hear more about that. You may know us as being operationally excellent. We've won a number of industry awards over the years for the way we process transactions and then provide service to quality, service to clients in a very great way. Our distribution and access model is unparalleled through the branches, the phone, and the web. And our marketing partners help position Schwab as a firm most clients want to do business with. The one constant, I would say, through the years has been a maniacal focus on the client. We like to say through clients' eyes. It's what we do, it's in our DNA, and it's what really drives the passion and the culture that we all have here at Schwab. This page here, you see our founder, Chuck Schwab, and he does go by that Chuck. When I first joined the firm, I thought it was Charles, and everybody was referring to Chuck, and I wasn't quite sure who they meant, but he does go by Chuck. Chuck Schwab founded the firm 40 years ago to really demystify investing. Chuck's vision was to build a different type of firm based on the notion that everyone matters, that everyone counts. Big investor, small investor, it doesn't matter. Everyone matters and everyone counts for those that want to participate in the markets. And so to do that, his belief is that investors simply deserve better. And we can only get better by innovating over the years, innovating with better prices, better access, better service. So we have gone far beyond what we first were known to be, which is a discount brokerage, into the web services and launching some of our the supermarket we know as the mutual fund OneSource. We also are the leading provider of services for independent advisors who serve their clients. And we're currently in the process of disrupting the 401k industry with lower cost and simplified investing for workers to better prepare for retirement. And I think about what we've done over the 40 years, and the word I come up with is challenge. We've been a challenger. We've disrupted the industry for nearly 40 years, and we're going to continue to do so. What I'd like to do now that you know a little bit about the Schwab you might have known in the past, I'd like you to hear from Andrew about the Schwab you may not know. Andrew?
Well, thank you, Frank. It's great to be on the call with everyone, and very generous introduction. You mentioned that I travel quite a bit. I'm actually coming from our beautiful Michigan Avenue branch in a rainy Chicago, and in fact, all the speakers on the webcast today are in different locations, so not surprisingly, a little technical difficulty at the front end. Every time you refer to my background in the number of years I've been at Schwab, approaching 20 years, I should say, I will share a personal factoid with the group. Maybe I'm a guy of consistency. My wife and I still celebrate our first date, and today it's 28 years since my first date with my wife. So I guess at Schwab and in relationships, I've been a guy of consistency. But now I will talk a little bit about the Schwab that many of you might not know. And again, I came to Schwab in '95, and maybe a piece that you might not know is many people think about Schwab as America's leading discount broker. And when I came to Schwab almost 20 years ago, 2/3 of our revenue was commission-based, and it's a very transactional environment. We didn't give advice in our branches. In fact, the rumor was people would get fired if they made a recommendation in our branches way back when. But Schwab has come a long way since those days, and we think of the firm as being a full-service firm, meeting the needs of self-directed clients, those legacy clients of Schwab that might have been with us over 40 years now, but also clients that are looking for advice and guidance, those clients that are validators and delegators. And we really seek to serve all forms of individual investors. That's really part of the Schwab that many of you might not know. But on the page that's shown as well is there's a series of beliefs that drive actions at Schwab. And the first belief that's not on the page here that I'd share with you is we really believe for most investors they're using a brokerage model, a model that's somewhat stuck in the past. And we believe that investors do deserve better. And we believe that 40 years ago when Chuck first started the firm and it was about discounted commissions. We still believe there are issues in the brokerage industry that many clients are grappling with, and we believe there's a better way. And at Schwab, we do believe, as signaled here in the upper left-hand side, in the power of investing to transform people's lives. It's about getting them to and through a successful retirement. What brings everyone together at Schwab, as Frank referenced, is that maniacal focus on focusing on the individual investor, that individual client or the advisors or employers that support those individual investors. And we see investing, as noted here, as an act of optimism and a commitment to the future. We want clients that are engaged, that have one hand on the wheel, and we're helping them to guide them to and through that successful retirement. So that really drives a series of actions that are highlighted on the right-hand side of the page. We encourage our clients to ask the tough questions, to get involved, to demand transparency and accountability. We want clients that are engaged and asking us questions. We want partnership, and we really want to unlock the power of investing. And that's why it's more than just a tagline in our latest advertising. And I'll tell you, when the Schwabbies internally first saw this when it launched last summer, it's what we've always done. We want clients to help clients own their tomorrow. And that's really the spirit of Schwab. And maybe even to make this a little bit more transparent, if you walked into a branch like Michigan Avenue where I am today, you'd see on every FC's desk what we call the promise. And there's 5 elements in terms of how we work with clients. And those 5 elements are, it's all about partnering, advice, choice, transparency, and value. We want to partner with our clients. We want to engage with them, whether they want to be completely self-directed or potentially fully delegate. We want to give them advice that's objective, easy to understand, that demystifies. We want to provide choice to products, whether they're our products or third-party products, that bring the best products to our clients. Transparency in everything we do, down to our compensation plan for our financial consultants, which if you go to schwab.com, you can see it posted there, all the details available for clients and prospects to see. And then finally, value. Value can mean in certain product categories like index funds, we want to be the lowest cost. But in other areas, value is much broader than that, and want to ensure in all cases clients are seeing great value. So those 5 elements of the promise is something that we strive to deliver every day for clients, and we talk to prospects about in terms of how that makes Schwab not just different, but also better. So next page just talks about how we think of this as a firm. And at a firm level, our purpose, and this spans all of our enterprises, retail, advisor services, and our services to corporations or employers, is we really do want to champion every client's goals with passion and integrity. Again, everyone is united around serving that individual investor. And that drives a series of what we call operating principles, and those 4 operating principles are on the right-hand side. It starts with client loyalty, to earn clients' trust. We have one measure at Schwab which we hold above all other measures. We call it Client Promoter Score. Many of you might know it as Net Promoter Score. It's largely a measure of loyalty that gauges a client's willingness to recommend Schwab. On a 0 to 10-point scale, we ask clients, how willing are you to recommend Schwab? The 9s and 10s are the promoters. The 0s to 6s are what we would call detractors. We take the percent that are promoters, subtract the percent that are detractors, throw away those that say 7 and 8, and that gives us our Client Promoter Score. That measure of clients' willingness to refer to Schwab is the measure we hold above all others. Now, we talk about a principle of one Schwab, where we respect fellow employees. Schwab has a lot of collaboration. It really does bring out the best ideas. And whether that's an idea coming from a partner organization or a support group, we really do foster a one Schwab collective work style. We're very focused on innovation. That's where the firm started over 40 years ago with Chuck, but innovation continues. Whether that's what we did with Frank referenced the mutual fund OneSource, we rolled out ETF OneSource a little over a year ago. What we've done to, as Frank mentioned, disrupt 401k with what we call Index Advantage, our new 401k program, and then also even our franchise opportunity, where we offer an opportunity for franchisees to run independent Schwab branches. We're constantly looking for innovative ideas that can bring more value to our individual clients. And then finally, we do it all with operating discipline. And that just means that we're careful with the investments that we make. We're careful in terms of managing our expenses. We constantly seek to drive scale, which enables us to provide increased value to our end clients. So that's just a little bit about the firm overall. Let's just talk about some of the metrics then that drives. And the headline on the next page, as it comes up, is our purpose, values, and client-focused strategy definitely are intended to drive growth. Now, we are very focused on being a growth firm. We have been for our full heritage, and we view that as a benchmark of whether we're being successful or not. Our clients voting each and every day to bring an increasing amount of their wallet to Schwab. And you can see some of the highlights, our 2013 net revenue, over $5 billion, client assets well over $2 trillion. I can remember passing 1 trillion. It doesn't feel that long ago, and 3 trillions within sight. 14,000 employees, 11 call centers. I will say 4 service centers that are primarily retail, those being located in Phoenix, Denver, Indy, and Orlando. And we have over 300 branch offices, including our international offices. So quite a big footprint that we're constantly looking to expand. And you can see a picture of our president and CEO, Walt Bettinger, and a quote from Walt. And I would just highlight his focus on the golden rule. We really do believe in that principle of treating all clients as we would want to be treated. Many of us refer our friends, our family to Schwab, and we want to ensure they're treated as we would expect to be treated. And at the end, we believe that should drive referrals. Again, back to that measure of client promoter score. If we're successful, we will generate trust and loyalty that will result in our clients referring additional prospect new-to-firm opportunities, and that is Schwab's #1 source of growth. Always has been and continues to be. So when we talk about the golden rule, what does that mean? And on the next page, and Frank mentioned this earlier, is we view driving growth by seeing through clients' eyes, making sure that when we approach any particular initiative, we're taking an approach of how our clients are going to view it. So it's not about Schwab's agenda. We believe in the principle of we do well by doing good. And our clients, if we sit on the same side of the table as them, we will prosper and we will continue to grow. And that principle applies across all of our 3 primary enterprises. Now, we'll focus on the individual investor or retail enterprise today, but we also have our independent advisor or advisor services business, where Schwab is the leading custodian for over 7,000 fee-based advisors, a significant portion of Schwab. And then we also have our services to employers, which includes 401k plans, our stock plan services business, compliance solutions. But all of these businesses serve individual investors, and that's what ties us all together in being able to see everything we do through clients' eyes. So if that's not enough to attract you to Schwab, I'll talk a little bit about, at least start the process of some of the career opportunities that we have available. And I'm going to start, just in terms of the broad opportunities. So if you can bring up the next page following Matthew. Now, what does unify, and we do refer to ourselves as Schwabbies, and this is true across all roles, is a belief in the importance of investing. Now, that investing and the long-lasting value of relationships that comes from focusing intensely on client goals. We are a relationship-driven firm. I won't say that was always the case. It probably wasn't the case when I joined in '95, but we are very focused on building long-lasting relationships with individual investors, advisors, and corporations that drive those, and ensuring that's driving an investing discipline. And you can see this quote, from a recent Schwabbie that we brought in, and I think this somewhat reflects what Frank mentioned before. What I often hear from new candidates as they come in is they reflect on how nice an organization Schwab is, and I think that comes back to our very collaborative style. It's an organization that fosters individuals that want to work together, that care about individual investors, and want to do well by our clients, and generally feel like they're working in a non-conflicted environment where we don't put up constraints that are around Schwab's objectives that might conflict with the client objectives. We're very sensitive to creating a conflict-free, essentially, opportunity to work with our clients. And I think people see that spirit and focus. It's what unites us. It's what attracts candidates, and hopefully many of you that are on the webcast, to be part of a culture that really is trying to do well by doing good. So, where are the roles that we're recruiting for? It's a large organization, so there are a series of enterprises that we have roles in, and we're only going to focus on 2 of those today. The upper 4 here are largely our retail groups. I'll talk about the branch network, client service and support, our service organization we won't go into detail with, but Brad will be joining. We'll talk about Schwab Private Client, and then Options Express we won't be going into. But you can see the other organizations, as well as our support departments across the firm. So if you don't hear that there's an opportunity that's a great fit for you on this call, just a plug to note that there are other opportunities clearly across the firm, and Schwab is always looking for the right talent in different places. So I'm going to start out with talking about our branch roles and talking about our branch opportunities. And it's just a quote here on the bottom of this intro slide that mentions referrals aren't something just our clients provide, but actually our employees are often our best source of new candidates. And that's just another great indicator. We actually track not just client promoter score, but our employee promoter score. And we run at a very high level, which is just another great indicator of the health of our employee base and their view of Schwab. And I will say we're actually updating our employee engagement survey, an annual process we go through that will be rolled out just in the next week or so here, where we'll be asking all employees about their likelihood to refer. And it's a measure that at the most senior levels of management we take very seriously, just like we do our client promoter score. We want our employees feeling Schwab is a place not only that they want to stay, but they want to refer their friends and colleagues to as well. So the next page just gives an overview of the branch career opportunities. And there's a lot of detail on this page, and some of it I've already touched on. I'll just touch on a couple different areas. This idea that in the branches we're constantly looking for industry-leading, unique offerings. Finding those innovative ideas that are going to resonate with our target client base. And our target, the type of clients we are going after in the retail space as we talk about affluent, driven investors, largely that are at full commission brokers today. When we look at where the great opportunity for growth is for Schwab, it's the clients that are currently sitting at full commission brokers, affluent and driven, have that mindset where they're looking for a firm that wants to collaborate, that they want to retain one hand on the wheel, but they also want ample support. And so constantly looking for opportunities to enhance our offering. And one I'll just call out is the accountability guarantee. I was watching CNBC this morning and saw our latest ad on the accountability guarantee, and it's just different in that what we're saying through that approach is that if for any reason, a client is dissatisfied with one of our fee-based, our proprietary fee-based advice offerings, like Schwab Private Client that Brad's going to speak about, we will refund their last quarterly fees, no questions asked. Now, we just stand behind our advice to such a great degree, and we're so confident and committed to addressing any issues that a client might bring up, we feel we can make that position and be very clear, and really no one else is out there doing it. So again, another sign of being on the side of the individual investor. Within the branches, the point here about a relationship practice, we've got Jackie Bevel who will talk as an FC about our FC role, but we do focus on, in our branches, managing a practice of clients and have that focus, and our financial consultants are driving new to firm opportunities out of their practice. So there is definitely an element of servicing and supporting a group of clients, 350 plus clients, and using that springboard essentially to create referral opportunities and other new to firm growth. Our salary structure, as it's noted here, is salary plus bonus compensation. That's consistent across all our various roles. I will say the bonus structure does vary for our FCs and branch managers versus some of the other roles, and as we're going through those, we can make them a little bit more specific, but everyone's essentially on a salary plus bonus structure. We have a focus on training and continuing education and development across our roles. I will say for our financial consultants, the reason I'm here in Michigan Avenue is we're working on a training program that we're going to be rolling out to all of our branch managers and financial consultants later this year. It's the single largest discretionary investment that we will make in the branch network this year is around development. So we are very committed to customized training programs as well as supporting industry designations and credentials. Very much a large focus. Brad will probably talk about this on the CFP designation. And then finally, 4 paid week sabbatical after 5 years of service. Folks generally like that, as well as plenty of opportunities for recognition. Noted here, we've got our Chairman's Club trip for top performers, and that group is actually headed off to Maui later this week and next week. So making sure that there's not just compensation for our top performers, but also recognition and an opportunity to interact with other top performers. So let me wrap with one last chart or page where I will just talk about the branch manager role in particular, because many of you on this call might be vying for that particular position. And again, there's a page here with a lot of detail on it. Now, I'm not going to go through it all. I will say what our branch managers focus on is they are managing a team of individuals that consists of a financial consultant, set of financial consultants, what we call an associate financial consultant, which Jackie will talk about next, and also a team of what we call client service staff specialists that largely are doing the servicing work within the branches. So 3 primary roles that our branch managers are leading. And what we're really looking for our branch managers to do is to be what I think of shifting from directed leaders to really being local owners. We want our branch managers to really be that local face of Schwab, to understand what's going to work best, whether they're in Scarsdale, New York, Irvine, California, or in where Jackie is down in Houston, Texas. I tell you the truth, I'm located out of San Francisco, and I can't sit in San Francisco and decide what's best in each local market. The nature of the competition, our corporate opportunities, the demographics of that particular market, they all vary by the individual markets. And we need branch managers that are thinking about those local opportunities, thinking about unique approaches, thinking about their staffing model, and being very proactive in proposing and pursuing how we go after those opportunities. So rather than waiting for someone to tell them what to do, as a directed leader might work, a local leader is coming up with those strategies and executing them with the support of Schwab. That's really what our branch managers are doing. And you can see the qualifications there. There's probably no surprise from all that. We are looking for experienced hands, a minimum of 5 years in financial services, 4 years in a sales leadership capacity. Definitely have a preference for those that have a CFP, but also support the pursuit of that if people come without it. It's really more the mindset we're looking for, that sales leadership, that connection with the positioning of Schwab, and that maniacal focus, as Frank mentioned before, on client service and growth, and being able to drive that at a local level. That's what the branch manager role is all about. So I'm very pleased that we have Jackie Bevel on the line. Some of you might have seen Jackie because she was actually featured in some of our advertising last year. She comes to us out of the Houston Woodlands branch and is one of our top performing FCs, and she's going to talk in a little bit more detail about the other roles within the branch. So Jackie, I think I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that, and appreciate the opportunity to visit this afternoon. I'm excited to talk about my role as an FC and how the branch works a little bit. So I want to share a little bit of my experience back in 2002 when I first was in a Schwab branch, and I had some business actually to take care of for an uncle that had passed away, and the FC there was just very, concerned about my situation and visited with me, and before I knew it, she was asking me what I did for a living, and it was, when I think about it again, it's pretty interesting. And I was, at the time, not real happy with where I was, and she said, well, I just think you need to fill out an application at Schwab. And so here I am. So she was probing and just took an interest in my particular situation at that time. And so that's what brought me here. And one of the other large factors I would say is that we, as FCs, as Andrew mentioned, we are, we have a salary plus a bonus structure. And so that makes it very desirable, to work at Schwab. And then along with that, we're not transactional. So how great is that, to be a financial consultant and be able to work somewhere where you can really visit with a client or visit with a prospect and take your time to get to know them and talk to them about their needs and their goals and develop, really develop a relationship. And so that's my role, and I think it's really exciting. It's fun to meet new people. It's fun to take them through the process of working on their financial planning first. I would say that's what I like to do, and just really show an interest in them, and get to know their family, get to know their goals and objectives, and of course, to satisfy their current needs that they have. So we typically, as FCs, work with a client, a book of business. So we have a book of business of clients that have liquid assets of $250,000 or more. That's where we kind of start. And so basically we just start the process of growing those relationships. And I believe, at Schwab it is a one-stop shop. We've got all the financial tools available to us, from mortgages and banking to investments. And there's a place for everyone here at Schwab. If you want to be self-directed and do it yourself, we've got a great active trading platform. We do in-branch seminars. We have live online seminars, so you can do these things from home. So I really think that we do have it all, and we just a great group behind me on the 800 number. Anytime a client calls in, they're immediately directed to a group that can help them. These guys are so sharp. They're experts. I mean, I speak of myself as knowing a little bit about a lot of things, but I have lots of folks on my team, as I call it. My Pinnacle team that's just fabulous at reaching out to my $1 million clients and answering questions very quickly, and they're very accessible. So just lots of tools that we have here to work, to help me do my job every day. And kind of taking a step back and talking about a couple of the other roles here in the branch that are very integral to my position and to the working of Schwab. Probably the first point person here is the client service specialist. And that role, I think, is extremely important in that they're the first contact. They're out there when the client or the prospect walks in the door with a check, and maybe they want to open a new account. Maybe they want to deposit it. Well, I think that their role, and our client service representatives here at my branch do a fabulous job, by the way, but I think that their role is to try to get to know that client a little bit, know a little bit more about what their needs are. And, with that, not just taking that deposit and saying, here's your receipt, have a good day, but, maybe they notice that they haven't spoken to me in a while, or maybe they notice that they're not in a practice, so they might ask, would you like to visit with one of our financial consultants today? So really, engaging with the person and finding out, more about them so we can better help them reach their goals. And the client service specialist really has a career path to more of an operations manager and possibly a senior operations manager. So it's not, just that one position. We do have very, very nice career objectives here too. And then also, as they're speaking, with a client, they might find that the client does in fact want to sit down and visit with someone. So the first point person there to have an appointment and sit down with a client would be the associate financial consultant. Now that person is also integral in my position, in that if they determine that the prospect or client has assets over $250,000, that they might refer them directly to an FC, and because that is considered a practice eligible client. So that would be, they would do the screening and the qualifying for that particular client, and they do a great job of determining, what the best next step is for the client. If they determine that the client or prospect, is not at that level, then absolutely they have all, the tools available to help the client manage their portfolio, possibly signing them up for some seminars, because the associate financial consultant conducts a lot of in-branch seminars and webinars or webcasts, and so that is part of their role too, is that of education. So helping the client understand what we have to offer here at Schwab and how we can help them to reach their goals. So that's, the three roles here that we're really focusing on today within the branch network. We all work very closely together. The client service specialist is, as I mentioned, the point person, and they do work to support the staff at the branch also. And then the AFC, digs a little deeper and gets into visiting with the client, and they also have a career path that would be, to a financial consultant role, and usually that's within 18 to 24 months. So, so that is very briefly, I think, talking about the three different roles and talking about, what I do also, and so it's just, I can't say enough about Schwab. It's a great place to be. As was mentioned previously, I've been here for 12 years, and I plan to stay here. So I really enjoy my position. And with that, I would now like to turn it over to Brad Hunt, who's going to visit with you a little bit about the Schwab Private Client.
All right, thank you, Jackie, and thank all of you for being on today. It's a privilege to speak with you. And if I may, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about Schwab Private Client and who and what we are and what we do. We are a non-discretionary offer, meaning that we require client engagement and approval on all of the portfolios that we construct for our clients. And through our FC partners, we serve 46,000 households, right at about $70 billion in assets, which if you do the math comes out to be about $1.5 million per household that we help manage and direct. And Andrew referred to this earlier, but in our group here of our portfolio consultants, about 80% have got their CFP or CFA designations, and our goal is to take that to 100%. And if we go to the first slide, you'll see that we do have opportunities within Schwab Private Client in Denver, in Phoenix, in Indianapolis, and Orlando. And we are growing, so hopefully what we're going to talk about here will resonate with some of you, and there'll be an opportunity for us to move forward. I would like to share with you our value proposition because I really think it sums up what we do quite well. And it is as follows. We help our clients achieve their financial goals through proactive wealth management, founded on a financial plan and utilizing a rigorous investment methodology. We are a dedicated, trusted team delivering a high-touch, customized approach backed by a commitment to exceed our clients' expectations. And that is more than just a plaque on the wall. That is really what we aspire to live and deliver every day. Before I move on to talk about the specific roles that are available, I'd kind of like to tell you a little bit of a story. I started in this business 20-plus years ago in a role as a financial consultant at a wirehouse, then to a branch manager, and ultimately leading a state for a very large international wealth management firm. And during that time period, I interacted with, met, coached, led, managed a set of professionals that you may recognize. And these were really professionals that had credentialization like their CFP. They were really client and planning focused. They really loved what they did. What they did not prefer was sales and marketing aspects of what the role required, which in many times, especially when you're building your practice, would be 60% of the time to do that. Now that's different here with the financial consultants at Schwab, which Jackie and Andrew referred to. But with this set of advisors, that was the sticking point for them, and that really short-circuited some of their careers. What's different about Schwab Private Client is you get to focus on what you love. And in this case, that's the clients, that's planning, That's the goals of our clients, their portfolios, and the wealth management issues that we serve. Also, what's unique about Schwab Private Client is that there's no conflicts with your recommendations and compensation. And what I mean by that is there is no correlation between what you recommend in clients' portfolios and what we do for them. So that's certainly good. As you can see on the slide there, as we move forward you'll see that we do have a salary plus bonus compensation plan, and that is really tied to client satisfaction, the size of the practice, and other qualitative measures. So that's what really has resonated with me about Schwab Private Client, and it may be what resonates with you. So let's review the 4 roles here. And really there's 3 listed here, but there is a 4th one. So as you see, the Associate Portfolio Consultant is really the entry into Schwab Private Client. And I won't read this to you relative to the requirements, qualifications, but this is a role that we typically hire people in who aspire to become a portfolio consultant and further continue up the career ladder that we've built here within Schwab Private Client. That includes the portfolio consultant, the senior team manager, and the senior PC, which is a role that we'll touch on briefly. As the APC, as we call it, you have responsibility for providing support to 2 or 3 portfolio consultants and having daily contact with clients on a service level. And as we move forward, actually owning practice management for the practices that you serve, as well as delivering ad hoc advice to clients as is needed. And as I said earlier, this is a path towards becoming a portfolio consultant. Many of our APCs either have or are aspiring to attain the CFP. If you move on to the next slide, you'll see the next progression up the ladder, which is our portfolio consultant role. Again, this role requires the appropriate licensing, and generally speaking, we hire those that have the CFP or are in the process of getting it. It's really about working with clients day to day, developing an investment policy statement, an asset allocation, helping address their long-range wealth management needs. And additionally, as you may or may not know, the offer does have some minimum sizes. We work with a minimum size of $500,000 per account. Our average client size, as I referenced earlier, is about $1.5 million. We do have clients as large as $100 million, which when I first came to Schwab over 4 years ago, I was amazed just at the size of assets that clients are attracted to bring here. We support 300 branches. As I said, you may work from anywhere from 3 to 10 financial consultants. They actually will refer business, the clients to us for us to serve. And each portfolio is individually constructed. Each client's needs are individually built. It's a customized program. Each portfolio consultant will work with about 175 to 200 clients, managing anywhere from 200 to 300 million in assets. And what's really unique about this, we talked about the team. The FC and the PC continue to work together with the client to help them achieve their goals. And we even bring in a broader team of experts, whether it be our high net worth group, our financial planning teams, our options teams, our fixed income teams to help clients meet their needs. The next slide that you'll see there is really at the next level up, the career ladder, which is the senior team manager, which typically is around 10 portfolio consultants and around 3 or so APCs per team. We have 8 that report up here to me in our Denver center, and there's 3 other centers, as I said, Orlando, Phoenix, and Indy. So that role really requires what I would typify as 3 things. That's to lead, to manage, and to coach. And those things are all very, very important. But what it's all really grounded in, again, is helping us meet the needs of our clients as we aspire to provide comprehensive wealth management that we believe will transform the industry. As you can see there, CFP is required. All of the licensing, including your 910. We will sometimes hire in appropriately experienced people and have them achieve those licensing. But clearly, it's a real leadership opportunity, and many times leads to other opportunities outside of Schwab Private Client as well. So before I turn this over, I do want to touch on one last role that we're that we are initiating in July, and that's our senior portfolio consultant. We've been in a 2-year program to develop a role that is specifically geared towards serving clients with $2 million and greater that have deeper wealth management needs. And that role will be rolling out in July. Right now we have about 28 candidates nationwide that are going through a very rigorous wealth management academy. And we will be selecting 20 of those initially to serve those clients where our FC partners believe they would be best served with those relationships. So it's a very exciting time within Schwab Private Client. I believe we do the right thing the right way for the right reasons for our clients. And I do believe that this model, which is unique in conjunction with our FC partners, is the way that wealth management will be looking in the future. So let me stop there and hand it back to Frank to further discuss the opportunities here at Schwab.
Great. Thank you, Brad. And we'll open it up for questions in just a minute. I think you heard earlier, just send your questions in via the text box, the chat box that David talked about earlier. So last 2 slides. Our opportunity to meet all of you in person where it's convenient. We have what we call bridge events, bridging where you're at now in your career to potentially the other side of that bridge, which may be Schwab. Bridge stands for Building Relationships and Inclusion for Diverse Growth and Education. We're hosting these kind of career events, networking sessions in Austin, Indianapolis, and Orlando on May 20th, and 2 days later in Phoenix and in Denver. And you can see how to register right there on the website. And you'll get more information after the call today. So now what? As we go to close this call and take some of your questions, there's a couple things you can do. First of all, you can register with our Schwab Talent Network. Go on to the website that you see there, and you can just create a profile. You don't have to apply for a job. Just create a profile, get your interests stated so we have that captured in our data system. If you do see something that you'd like to go ahead and apply for now, then go ahead and do that. That's available. There's search function capabilities to illustrate the jobs that you might find of interest. And then the next 3 areas. I guess this social media thing is going to catch on after all, so we're big on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook. You can follow us on all of those devices and all of those sites and venues. I would also encourage you on LinkedIn. Walt Bettinger, our CEO, is an influencer, and he writes a blog that gets posted every couple of weeks, and you can gain some insight from some of the things that Walt has to share, regardless of your career pursuits. And then lastly, if you do have any specific questions, michelle.shea@schwab.com is willing to take your emails and respond or send it off to the person that may be in a better position to do that. And, feel free to tell your friends about what you learned today. And if you want to have them apply, we certainly are grateful for any other additional interest in our firm. Okay, so now we got about 10 minutes left. It's your turn to ask us any questions that you might have about what you heard today, and then I'll kind of farm out the questions that David takes in and direct them over to one of our panelists. David, do we have any questions on the line?
We have a lot of questions, Frank, and thanks so much. You guys did a great job on the presentation, and as Frank indicated, we got about 10 minutes left here, so we're going to try to get to some questions now. First question is can you clarify a little bit more of the difference between working in a retail branch and working for Schwab Private Client?
Okay, sure. That's a great question. I think the best person for that would be Axel Markeline, who I introduced earlier. Axel does the recruiting for both the branches and Private Client and talks to candidates all day long about the opportunities there. Axel, can you explain?
Yeah, absolutely, and I get those questions quite frequently. And first and foremost, it really is the work environment. So the employees in the branch are working with clients face-to-face, while our portfolio consultants within Schwab Private Client primarily are going to have a phone-based relationship with the clients. I really look at the financial consultant in Jackie's role as more or less a quarterback on the relationship. And that relationship with the client starts with Jackie and the financial consultant. And the financial consultant's goal is to really take a very consultative, holistic approach to the client relationship, really deepening the relationship and truly understanding the client's short-term and long-term financial goals and objectives, and then discussing the appropriate strategies and solutions with those clients. Now, if during those discussions the financial consultant discovers that the client really has an interest in having an expert work with them to create a customized portfolio, that's when the financial consultant introduces the client to the portfolio consultant within our Schwab Private Client division. And the portfolio consultant role is specifically focused on creating a customized portfolio specifically for the need of each client they are working with. And to me, that's one of the benefits of Schwab, is our collaborative, team-based approach, having the ability to leverage the expertise of our internal business partners depending on the specific needs of our clients.
Very good. I have another question here, Axel, or Frank, excuse me. Another question, a candidate that says they're currently hold a Series 763 as well as a life, accident, and health and certification, and it sounds like there's some numerous opportunities that they might be interested in, but they're wondering what's the best way to take the next step in putting out their candidacy for one of these positions.
Sure. So I'll just take that quickly. Like I said on the previous page, I'd go ahead and go onto our career site, schwab.com/careers. You'll find out more about the specific positions, and you'll get to read some stories beyond what you heard today about individuals who have those roles today. And go ahead and create your profile on the Talent Network, and if you find a job in the area and the function you're interested in, I'd go ahead and apply, and we'll start the process.
Great, great. Had a few questions kind of along the same theme here, but do you have opportunities outside of the areas where you have the bridge events? We have some people here interested in San Diego and Washington, D.C. and some of the other areas that perhaps aren't going to be able to make it to a bridge event.
Axel or Heather, would you like to share how we can have interaction with candidates that are not able to make it to the bridge events that we have listed?
Sure, I can answer that. This is Heather Markham. So periodically we do hold what we call our career night open houses in our branch locations. We just had one a few weeks ago in Tyson's Corner up in the DC area. The best way to be notified about those is go on to LinkedIn and follow Charles Schwab. You may also want to connect with Michelle Shea or myself, Frank Hines, anyone on this webinar today. When those events are taking place, we market them pretty heavily via LinkedIn, via our Twitter channel, and so that's going to be the best place to be notified. And we will be holding those periodically. I heard San Diego and Washington mentioned. Those will be coming soon, probably in the next few months, so keep an eye out.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Heather. Another question from an audience member, Frank, is they're asking, they're working at a competing firm now. If they came over to Schwab in an associate financial consultant role, what does the career path look like for somebody, say, 5 to 10 years from starting with the firm?
Oh, great question. Career pathing. I think Andrew would be in the best position to take that one. Andrew?
Happy to take it, Frank. Very encouraged for interest in the AFC position. We really view that position, as Jackie mentioned, as a transitional role. We look to bring in new AFCs that will be in that position for, say, 18 to 24 months and transition to a financial consultant role. So, we're not looking to create career AFCs. It really is a role, a developmental role, that should lead to a financial consultant position. And once in the financial consultant position, we have 4 levels of financial consultants. And so we see a career opportunity as a financial consultant. Years ago at Schwab, to make more money, you had to go into a management path or another path separate from a financial consultant. That is not the case. There is an opportunity to spend many years, as Jackie mentioned, as a financial consultant to progress through the levels, to increase your compensation and benefits, as well as the support that's provided to you. So again, AFC, 18 to 24 months, and hopefully a long career as a financial consultant.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much. And looks like we have time for one final question here. And for those of you that we've had a number of questions coming in, do not despair. We have a record of all of these, and someone from Charles Schwab will be able to get back with you on answering these. But the final question I want to ask as a takeaway here is, how do you differ, Frank, or how does Schwab differ from other competing financial services firms?
Sure. So let me take that, and then we can move to close, David. I hope that the theme and the way Schwab has been built over 40 years has really come out in the presentations that you heard. You heard about the client focus, a maniacal aspect of looking at things through clients' eyes, our culture, our collaborative environment, teamwork, innovation. A lot of those things some companies say. I can guarantee you that's what we do. That's in our DNA. That's what we have to offer as a career opportunity. The one thing I would say in our industry, there's a lot of things that can be replicated. Products, pricing, offers, distribution, web services, all those things are fairly easily replicatable. But we at Schwab believe we have the best people that cannot be replicated. So we're very guarded in how people come into Schwab because they are the ones that serve clients or are in a position to help those who serve our clients. So I think the one competitive advantage beyond a number of them is the fact that our people are the best in the industry.
Well, that's great. That's a great question to end on, all, and I would like to thank you all again for your time today and making a great presentation. I'd like to also thank each of our audience members today. We really appreciate your time in letting us present these opportunities to you. This webinar has been recorded, and a link to view this will be sent shortly, along with next steps from Charles Schwab should you have any interest in pursuing any of these opportunities. Please keep an eye out for this email. And again, we all would like to thank you for your time today. This concludes today's webinar, and we hope everyone has a great rest of the week. Goodbye.